Hey everyone, my name's Andy. I'm from the Finding Value channel. I'll be your host today. I've got Casper with us. That's Uselink. He just started his YouTube channel not too long ago, maybe about a month ago or so.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you guys like what he's saying, if you like his approach, definitely check out his website. His website is at Uselinkinv, and you can look on YouTube and find him through that. And he's big into technical analysis. Do you do anything else on the channel besides technical analysis, Casper?
No, mostly technicals. I mean, I
Mhm.
do a daily recap of what I have seen in the markets during that day, and then also I do, like a 10 minute video on like, for example, platinum or gold specifically, just to go into a bit more detail. And actually, those videos are getting a lot more of a good feedback. Just a 10 minute short video on long term to short term views on gold or silver or whatever it may be. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do for now.
Okay. So, number one, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it. And right now, what sector, what group, what really has your attention right now, given the technicals and the charts? What do you like? Wow, this is looking pretty good. So what's out there?
I think this might please you, but I think maybe one of the most best things to look at right now is platinum. I think platinum looks insanely good on a weekly basis even. I mean, it's just did a big breakout and doing a retest right now, the past week. I think platinum could be the one that will surprise many because it's no one more or less is looking at it. And the market for platinum is just so tiny. I mean, you don't need a lot of money to go into that sector before it can blow up big time. So I think platinum right now is probably in the top three, if not maybe even the top one, maybe. It looks very good if you look at one commodity alone. And also, I think the uranium spot price did some big breakouts last week, which was also very promising. But it's more of on a short-term basis, where platinum is a long-term 10-year breakout. So yeah, these two are looking very good. And then obviously gold and silver has done some pretty amazing things, but in the past 4 to 6 weeks, it had just gone sideways. So just consolidating, that's totally fine. So yeah, platinum is my number one right now, I would say.
So
Definitely.
what makes it your number one? Is it a breakout against the USD? Is it a breakout in ratio terms? Like what? Why is that number one, two, or three of what you're looking at? And could you show us too, like
Yeah,
kind of maybe what you're seeing?
I
Definitely
can
interested in
I can
seeing what
share
you've
my
got
screen.
here.
Just need to, I think the sharing stopped. Yeah, sorry for that. Just 1 second here. Just gonna put it back on.
Because I mean, don't get me wrong, platinum is one of my top picks too.
Yeah.
I'm, it's something that I have. I even have a name for it. It's called My Boy Platty.
Yeah,
My Boy
that's true.
Platinum.
That's true. You
So
use that often in your video, so and
yes, I do.
understandably, I mean, it's a great sector or a great commodity to have for sure. So so yeah, with regarding to the big breakout, this is purely against the USD,
Mhm.
uh, which looks very good. If you can just go into the 3 year charts here. We have the
Mhm.
March lows, as you know, and then 1 year later we peaked out at around 1400, somewhere around that. And then we have just consolidated for like 2, 3 years even. And what we did 2 weeks ago, we broke out, as you can see. We can even go to the daily. So we broke out, and now we're just retesting this breakout. And as you know, this is the longer the time frame you're looking at, the more valid often the breakout is. Because if you're looking at 15 minutes, maybe it doesn't even matter, it's just jittering around a bit. But long-term weekly breakouts is often where you want to be looking at. So you can see we have the golden trend line coming down here with the 4 touches, and then we broke out 2 weeks ago. And last week we just spent back testing more or less. So against the US dollar, I think platinum just looks absolutely amazing. If we can hold these levels, of course, that's the main thing to do. We want to hold these levels here.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
and also
Platinum's
if
also
yeah,
break. Platinum's
go ahead,
breaking out
go ahead.
against all other currencies as well. It looks really good. It's
Yeah, it does. It
yeah.
looks awesome. Also, if you look at, let me show you here. I think against most of the bigger. This is against oil. I think you have seen that as well. I did post this on Twitter. This is against oil, and if we can break this blue neckline against oil, we will have major outperformance in platinum against oil as well. So that looks good. And against, palladium, we are just outperforming like madness for the past, 6 months or so. And we can go to silver as well. We are also looking. If you let's zoom out here, you can see this big long term. It's a 25-year more or less wedge that we are breaking out, and then we are trying to inch our way higher out of this yellow wedge that we are trying to do right here. And if we can break out here, then, as you know, silver, I'm very bullish on silver as well. But to me, as I mentioned, platinum could do way better in a ratio term if this one breaks out. So yeah,
I sure hope so.
Yeah, I mean, it looks really good.
I've been buying platinum so much of it since 2020.
I don't have that much,
Yeah.
but I have a few. But yeah, it's platinum is awesome. I mean, it's really one sector where you could make. These only comes around maybe like 2 times in your investing career, these kind of setups. And I think platinum is one of them that is very underlooked. No one is looking at it. It looks really good.
And what?
So yeah,
So when
against
you say platinum could outperform, what kind of outperformance are you expecting in it?
Yeah, I mean, we can do a simple measured move. If I think silver will do insanely well, of course, for this decade, and so will platinum. But I think if we get that scenario where both silver and platinum will start to run, I think platinum will outperform that. So
why do you
depending
think
on
that?
how we go,
Why do you think
because
platinum will outperform silver?
because the charts are telling me that. I mean,
Okay.
that's the only thing I look at. I don't look at fundamentals and all that. I'm mostly more or less only looking at the charts and why and what it is showing to me.
Okay.
And to me, it is showing that if we can get above this level right here at around 50, which I think I've mentioned before on your show as well, 50 is the big level to look at. Then I think platinum will start to do its thing, even against silver, which will do insanely well as well. So yeah, and if we were to get all the way up to the peak here, which we often see, when you break out of a wedge here, you often see that it will try to go to all the way up to the top of the triangle, and often you have 2 stops along the way, which is these highs you have here, and then ultimately you want to get all the way up here, and that's when you want to convert your platinum or whatever into other assets. But we can do a measured move here very quickly. We can do it. To the first stop would be like a 100% outperformance. So if silver stands still as it is right now, which it will not, but let's say it will, then you will have platinum at 2000. Then we can go all the way up again. It's a 200% measured move, and then the final and hopefully third leg up or the top will be at around 250% outperformance of silver. So
the one thing to keep in mind though is that platinum could peak against silver before silver peaks against the dollar
yes,
or something like that.
yeah,
So
yes, exactly.
people don't realize that this is a ratio basis, and it doesn't mean that it's going to be peak all at like a total top. It could definitely peak earlier in the cycle versus silver, which could be later in the cycle, which is actually perfect for ratio investors.
Yeah,
If
it is.
if you can swap between metals during a bull market.
Yeah, and I know you did that a lot with the palladium, right? You swapped a lot of palladium back in March 2020, yeah. So
April
or
2020.
April,
I
okay, 2020.
swapped
That's still
all
a
my
very good.
palladium for platinum.
Yeah, that's amazing. Amazing place to do it. So that's
It was
nice.
part luck. It was part luck. I mean, no one gets it perfect, but it was
No.
part luck and part knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, platinum looks very good, both in USD, but also against other commodities. I think if you do a full-on ratio against whatever you have, I think platinum will score the highest, most undervalued commodity against all the other things out there. So
Yeah, that's
so
good.
yeah. So platinum looks good.
And what was your other high conviction area?
I think that's more short term, but we can look into it. That's the uranium spot price did do a big short term. Let me remove that here because for some reason the UX1 doesn't update to me, so I had to go to the UX2.
Yeah, it doesn't
Just one
update for
sec.
me either.
So I don't know if that's yeah. But we will swap to the Heiken-Nash candles because that will give us a more cleaner chart. So short term, let's see here. Let's go back in time a bit here. We had a squeezing pattern here coming into March 2022. And what we see here is the more or less the exact same.
We're squeezing.
We're squeezing there and we broke out last week. So very bullish. And I think if we are to go to some fundamentals things, I think it's a new vehicle that will purchase uranium spot in the market. I can't remember the exact name, but it's some sort of private placement or whatever it is that will start to purchase. So maybe that's the reason why we're breaking out here. But to me, it doesn't matter. To me, it has showed the direction of the uranium spot price in the short term. So
Do you think this?
that
Do you think this
yeah.
breakout has legs, or do you think it's gonna roll over, or what do you think is gonna come over the next few weeks?
I mean, until proven otherwise, you can only look at this as bullish. So to me, I'm just waiting to see what the chart is bringing. But often when you have such a long consolidation, I mean, when you get a breakout, it's usually very convincing. And the spot price has increased more or less like 10% already in 1 week. That's quite amazing. And I do also have a target here for the at some place during this year that we will get to whoopsie doopsie to this high here, the 73. So this is the weekly, and hopefully this could be the last leg up of this this move that we have here, the final push to 73. Hopefully.
Do you think that's like the fifth leg?
Yeah, this is before we get maybe some longer consolidation afterwards. Yeah, but we can easily overshoot as we often do. On charts we have a target, but often it's overshot to the upside or to the downside. But I think 73 is my target for this year, the highest target,
with
which is
with
still like 50% away. So that's quite nice.
with a large overshoot to 500, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Just
That's a big
kidding.
overshoot for sure. So yeah, for this year, getting around this 73 area is what to expect, I think. Maybe we get to like 80, then pull back, but we will see. But again, my long-term view is way into the triple digits. So don't get me wrong, this is just for this year. But I think, once this bull market is over, we would be way into the 100, 200, maybe even higher, depending on how you look at it. But I think uranium spot price is long-term insanely bullish.
And
So
you're
yeah,
just going to limit yourself to triple digits, not the fourth digit.
I will be happy if we get, halfway there. I think we should do quite well if if that's the case.
I'm just
So
kidding.
yeah, I know.
What about
But
what about the equities? What are you thinking about? What's your mind, or what are your thoughts around the equities of uranium?
let's have a look at if I can find it. We can check the URA. So if we just zoom out a bit here, let's go back to the original candles. If we take a big overview, excuse me for moving back and forth. Let's remove all the stuff here. So this is the Fukushima high back at 2011, and ever since then it has just been one downward move, right? It has been it hasn't been the best of times in uranium spot, but as you can see right now, it is turning. Even the 200 weekly moving average is coming up again here. So I think that that long term uranium's the minus for uranium again with the increased spot price will reach these levels here again at some point in time. Also, you can see here there is a big gap to fill. Oops, excuse me. There's a big gap to fill here at the Fukushima drop. So I think that will get filled for this move here, and then we will consolidate for like a year or two before moving even higher, depending on how hard the spot price goes.
So that's up. I mean, that's up 5 times, a little over
Yeah,
5
roughly.
times.
Yeah, 5 point something. Yeah. So yeah. So that's my target, at least looking at it in this way. There are other ways to measure it, but this is at least one gap that I think has to get filled. So yeah, but if we look at it,
Mhm.
yeah,
I was gonna say that's a long ways higher
yeah, it
for an
is.
index.
Yeah, so 5 times
Mhm.
here, I think I wouldn't be surprised too. But if we look at it more short term, I will just add 2 lines to the chart. I mean, this is the upper, and then we have the lower right here. Let's remove the weekly average here. So this is the March 2020 low, and then we had a big run up, and now we're consolidating. And there are two ways. There's always a bearish view and a bullish view, of course. And as you know, we have the big head and shoulders. I know also Francis Hunt, the market sniper, has mentioned this, and I
Mhm.
do agree. It's quite visible. And and yeah, I do think that this is the neckline below here. But I don't want to say feelings, because feelings doesn't matter a thing, in trading. But we can look at another ratio where we look at the ratio between the URA and the spot price. And the way that he has measured the move, I think it's a drop down to, like, I can't remember exactly, somewhere around here. So down to like 10. So it's a 50% drop. But that would just blow out all the ratio setups, in that ratio. So this we can look at later stages. So I think we have to keep watch here. Um, but to be honest, I hope it doesn't happen, of course, but I just think, even, yes, the fundamentals are insanely good for uranium, but also there's a lot of other factors in here that I think that if we were to break down, I think that we could see, this classic undershoot, or whatever you want to call it. You call it a slingshot
Slingshot,
cheater. Yeah, exactly. Where
slingshot cheetah.
exactly. Because the neckline is it's so visible to anyone, right? We have this one. So whenever it breaks, everyone will go short. Then we get the retest. And if that doesn't hold, then we break up like this, because all these guys here are short.
And stuck.
And stuck, yeah, and they have to buy back in a very thin market as well, or
Yep.
thin sector. So I do think we have to watch for this major head and shoulders, but I don't think it will happen. And the reason is, let's just go to, I think I've,
I, I'm not
yeah,
in that camp.
no,
I'm not in the down 50% camp.
no,
I
I mean,
mean, it's possible we break down, but I'm not in
no,
it.
I think, I me neither, but I think, of course, if we get an overall, where everything crashes like gold and silver, the SPX,
Mm,
the SP 500, Nasdaq, and so on, yes, then we will get a flush out of everything. So
mhm.
in that way, it will probably happen. But but yeah, I like Francis a lot. He's very good. So we have to respect his views, because he's
Yep,
insanely good technically. So
he is.
yeah, so
The other thing I'll say though is if we were to get a move down lower where everything kind of sells off, why is gold, silver, platinum, why are they all breaking their everything to the upside?
yeah, makes sense.
Oil, we could even look at oil. Oil does not look that bad, at least not yet, but that's broken to the upside. Most everything is moving upwards, in my opinion. But
Yeah, it is. It's still yeah. Most commodities are looking to be very inflationary right now. I mean, going up. So yeah, I totally agree.
mhm.
I totally agree.
Yeah, so there's oil.
There is oil, yeah, and let's zoom in a bit here, because I just want to show you this gap here. And this is also something that I talked a lot about on my daily recaps, that on my YouTube channel. This is the
Mhm.
OPEC production cut gap that we saw right here. And I said that we want to get above 82 before and stay there for like a week before we get any more bullish short term on oil. And as you can see, we did break out here above this neckline, or whatever you want to call it here. And then we stayed there for like 4 days, only to come back lower to fill the gap again. Um, So totally as expected, this gap got filled. Um, so any gap you see that is created on news often get filled.
Yep.
That's the way I see it. So because it's news driven. But right now again we are back into the gap into the gap zone, and with the Friday's very bullish candle. So yeah, we will see what happens here in the short term. Short terms are often hard to predict, but I do think overall, if we zoom out, as you can see, this is a 15-year long view. Long term, oil insanely bullish. We had the breakout in 2021 after the big flush from the COVID lows, and now we're basically just flagging or consolidating all the way down to major levels. And I think at some point, if it is this year or next year, I don't know, but we will start to curl up again, and we will start to see the second big leg of inflation coming to the system. So
I
and
agree.
there are some ways to measure where we could actually get as high as $400 oil, when this thing peaks out.
Wait, how high?
Yeah, $300 to $400 you can
Oh,
you can see if you go to the log
I
scale. We can quickly do it here.
I thought I heard 1,200. I was like, wow, that's up there.
Yeah, that's that's a big move if we get there for sure. That wouldn't be funny for any one of us.
I can
Uh,
get like 500 or 560 out of it.
yeah, yeah. So this is the log. This is on log scale, remember? So whenever
Mhm.
you look at a very very long time frame, often you want to use the log scale because it gets the chart looking much more neat, let's say, because you're looking at such a big time frame. But if we were to get up to the upper end of this range here, you can see we are clearly at. Let's just make it in 2030. You
Yep.
can see we are here at somewhere around 400 to 500 if we get there. So
Yep.
so the long-term macro for oil to me still points to that we are to get. It is to get very expensive at some point. That's for sure. And given the fact that no country is not mining it, but they're not drilling anymore because all of this green stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, go oil. I'm ultra bullish on oil.
yeah. I know you
Ultra,
have
ultra bullish.
a lot of
I
oil stocks. Yeah. So
I mean, a lot of people they just say kind of like renewables are going to replace oil. It's like I don't think you
uh,
guys know what oil's used for. It's not just
no,
for
exactly,
transportation.
exactly.
It's
No,
used in absolutely everything.
everything you see and use in life, oil has been involved in some way or another.
Yeah.
So I totally agree. I mean, this green agenda is yeah, it's all political and it doesn't do any good for anyone. So
So we got a projection there potentially, 400 or 500 bucks towards 2030.
yeah, exactly.
I'm just as bullish, 250 plus for sure.
Yeah, I
Time
agree.
frame unknown. What else you got? Uh, what about natural gas? I mean, okay, so here's the thing that it's difficult for me to understand. I know Francis probably thinks that oil is going to drop too with uranium and all these others. If that were to happen and gold were to go to the levels that Francis says, or
Mhm.
he's thinking 2,800, 2,900, 3,000 plus.
Yeah, true.
Um, I mean, your oil to gold ratio would get flushed to the downside into places that we've only been once in our life, which
Yeah,
occurred under a scenario where they shut down the economy
exactly,
completely.
exactly.
So I don't know. I
Yeah, so
mean, yeah.
in order to see that kind of levels again in that ratio, you need a similar setup, right? You need something absolutely insane to happen. What it will be, I don't know, but I know
Mm-hmm.
Francis is a lot into this. I wouldn't say conspiracy, but he's also that guy who looks a lot into yeah to yeah how to say it. You know what I mean, right? He's very
Mm-hmm.
into this whole reset thingy, So yeah,
Yeah.
let's wait and see.
Yeah. Currency
But
crisis or something like that could happen, or a
yeah,
debt
true.
crisis or whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah, or a big reset, going fully digital with the fiats and so on. So yeah,
Okay. And then natural gas, I mean,
could we
that's,
quickly go to this ratio with the uranium miners and the spot price just to show?
oh, yeah, yeah. Let's go for it.
So I think the spot price is here to stay. I don't think it will go that much lower, to be honest, because what you saw back in March 2020 is that it didn't drop at all. if I remember correctly, it started to climb right away. So if we were to get an overall event where everything goes down, I think uranium spot price will start to do the exact same, is to go up. So if we were to see a 50% drop in the URA again, in a 50% drop in the URA, then this ratio here will blow all the way to the downside. It wouldn't make any sense, I would say. So therefore, I don't see this drop coming in the uranium miners. And also, I would like to show you two things here. It's very interesting, actually. But 1 second. This, I think I showed you this one before, but anyways, it's nice to have a look back. So this right here is the late 2020, where uranium spot, the URA started to do all the big gains. And right now we are just hovering at the exact same ratio again, at around 0.4. And I think as long as this one is holding, then the uranium at some point will start to turn up again and start to outperform the spot price. So yeah, you can also see here back in 2016, we had the exact same. So this ratio here, 0.38, let's call it that, is a very big level. And I don't think that we would have gotten this low unless it wasn't for the March, madness. So I think this one holds, hopefully, and then we should be in for the next leg up in the URA, because it will start to outperform the underlying metal itself, which is the bread and butter if you want to invest in a commodity. So I just want to show.
When you say outperform, like how high do you think this is gonna? How much do you think the equities are going to outperform the underlying metal here? Do you think we're going to go back up to the top of about 0.75 or something like that, or 0.7,
long
whatever
term,
it is? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, long term, I see it as I'm just going to do a rough sketch here.
Yep.
This is the way I see it. This is your big support and resistance line coming across, and then you have a big inverted head and shoulders here at some point. So what I do think will happen is that we will start to curl back up again here, rest a bit, and then we will break through. So I think when this uranium bull market is all over, I would say we are at least, let me just do the quick move, measured move here. There it is. So at least somewhere around this ratio right here. That's my minimum, because that's the measured move from this inverted head and shoulders. So at least here, of course, we can always get overshoot, as we have talked about. So we will probably stop somewhere around, depending on where you want to put it, at least around 1.2, let's say, in this ratio. And remember, right now we are at let's round it up, 0.4. So that's a 3 times outperformance, at least in my view, against the uranium spot price.
So the first line, we'll call that the Lamborghini line, and then the second line is where you get your airplane.
Yeah, exactly. Totally true. So and remember, during this time, this outperformance of URA against uranium spot, the spot price is not standing still. In my view, it's going higher as well. And if we were to get, let's call it $200 spot price, that's a 4x from here. So if you do 4x divided by, multiplied by 3, you only have like 12 times. URA will do a 12x from here, if that were to play out.
That means roughly speaking, some of those companies in URA are going to do much greater than 12x to get the 12x.
Way better, yes, exactly. All the little ones, the explorers and the ones pre-production and so on, with a market cap of like, let's call it 100 million, they could easily do 20, 30x easily, if we were to get that full massive
evaluation
bull market. So yeah, totally. And even the little ones that doesn't have any, that just has the name uranium something, will also benefit heavily. So yeah, true.
And the sentiment's pretty bad right now. So I mean,
oh yeah,
you probably should. I don't know. I mean, I would be looking now. I don't really wait, but I'm quite aggressive. I'll just say that.
Yeah. I think my short-term view is we are still in a bear flag here, in my view, some sort of bear flag. So when we get back above in this zone here, which is around 20, 22, 21, 22, and stay there for like a week or two, then I think this consolidation is over, because we had the fake out here, and very rarely you see the next breakout also to be a fake out. You rarely see that. So hopefully we will get some sort of breakout here and stay there for like a period of time just to create a new base, and then we rocket higher. That's my wish. So
Well, my wish is we go to 16 before we go to 22.
16, yeah.
And then I'm gonna be brave and go for it. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, that's where the money is made, right? When everyone is scared, you have to step in front of the train and maybe take a bullet, but that's often where you get the biggest bang for your buck. So yeah, true. So yeah, but the sentiment is down the drain. I totally agree. I don't get a lot of positive feedback, when I post a bullish chart on Twitter. So it's coming back a bit. Last week was fine because we had a good week. So yeah, but still, it's still down the drain.
Yep.
But hopefully the Friday's candle here, together with the 2x above average volume, hopefully it's the start of something good short term, which will build into a long term up move. Hopefully, that's what we hope.
Yeah. Do you think there's any correlation of uranium and natural gas? Because I know natural gas generates electricity and uranium also generates electricity. Is there any correlation there that you think that you've ever seen?
Yeah, I think, also together with oil, if oil is going down, nat gas is going down, then it will pull, I think, most energies, most of stocks and so on in the sector will get pulled down automatically. So yeah, I totally agree with that. So also, I think, if you were to overlay URA together with XLE, I think the correlation you see there is also quite not 1-to-1, but maybe like 0.8 of correlation there. So yeah, totally.
Yeah, I heard. I didn't realize this, but we're in a sugar boom right now.
Yeah, sugar. Yes, it's actually one thing that I have posted like a year or two ago when no one talked about it, and then Grady, Grady started to post it, and then I said, yeah, I've been saying that for like 2 years, and then he said something like, show me your chart, or it didn't happen, or something like that, and then I found it, and then he said, right on. So yeah, it's should we look at the ratio or the correlation very quick, or
Yeah,
should
you're
we go to
talking
that gas first?
silver or sugar or what?
Yeah,
Which one?
yeah, silver and sugar.
It's crazy. Yeah, definitely. Let's look
That's
at it.
it's just mind-boggling to me. I'm just gonna leave these things over there. What is it? I can't remember. Just 1 second. What is the
I can't remember
SB?
either.
SB. Yeah, I can't remember. Let's look at this. Then we go to the log scale, just to show you your viewers how insanely correlated these two are. Log scale. We can just drag it out here.
What do you mean? There's no correlation at all.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just kidding.
So this is just this is very quick overlay, so don't mind it. We can align it better and so on, but it will take some time, so we just skip that. But as you can see, this is the 80s peak here, both for silver and in sugar, and you can just clearly see, the correlation between the two, and the same again here.
Don't forget
And the
the
handle,
handle.
yeah, it's coming here. Yes, exactly. And you can see if you go just purely looking at sugar, just look at this one here. It's absolutely stunning. So this is silver right now. We did complete a major. Oh, sorry, excuse me. That's sugar. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
We broke out above this golden upward trend line here, and we did a retest. And ever since, we haven't looked back. Right, we've gained like almost 50%. Let's call it 30-40%. Ever since March. Yeah, in like a month or so, a month and a half. And yeah, I think this is also the reason to me why silver is going higher, because sugar often leads the way in this ratio here. So very bullish on both sugar and silver, obviously. So
it's going to be a lot harder to get fat though, because sugar is getting a lot more expensive.
It's a good diet. That's good.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Do you think silver is going to take off with it?
I think sugar has shown the way, and silver will follow in some way or another, because you have this 50-year long correlation, so it will follow. Just give it time. If sugar can keep this move here intact and don't collapse all of a sudden for some reason, then I think totally silver will follow, no doubt about it.
I wonder why sugar does so well during the same market conditions as,
Yeah, I think it's just some
well, yeah,
inflation, something. Yeah, I don't know.
maybe people eat more sugar when they get scared or are
Yeah, I don't know.
fearful.
Yeah,
Maybe more
yeah,
cookies.
exactly.
We should like name the market
Yeah,
condition like Cookie Monster or something.
the Cookie Monster. Yeah, even look at the monthly here. It's just an insane candle, right? Last month. So
That's huge.
yeah, it
It's
is. It
massive.
really
That's a
is.
total breakout.
Yeah, yeah. I thought we would rest here, and also I posted that on Twitter as well. I thought we would rest here, but nope, we just went right through. I mean, just to. So yeah, sugar looks absolutely insane, and silver will follow.
Dude, look at the bottom of sugar. That's like, what is that? Like $10 is the total bottom of 2020, and now we're at $28
27,
or
28. Yeah,
27
exactly.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna get a lot
Wow.
more expensive. So it's gonna get a lot more
Oh
expensive.
crap. Look at the 1970s.
Yeah,
That's a
just
major
imagine.
spike from like
Yeah,
nothing to, wow.
yeah. This was I think the first or second wave of inflation. I can't remember, so don't correct me on that.
The first
And then
one
yeah, and
or
then this
second
is the
one.
third.
Second one.
Yeah, and then this
Yeah.
is the third.
Mhm.
So I think if you do a lot of adjustment for inflation, then you can actually make some pretty good estimates of where where sugar is going. But it's getting a lot more expensive to get fat. That's for sure. That's for sure.
It's the demand from kids.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's a
that's
funny
cool.
correlation, but it's if you were to plug it in and calculate the correlation, I easily think it could get above 0.9. And one to one being perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I think you can get above. You're above 0.8 at least. So
I'd say point 0.8 for sure.
yeah, yeah,
That's what
that,
my guess would be.
yeah,
Above point 0.8.
yeah, for sure. That's my guess as well. And you talked about, let's find your old nat gas. Want to talk nat gas a bit?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's
I
do it.
I love natural gas just because it's so
Yeah,
volatile, but looking at sugar,
yeah,
sugar's pretty volatile too.
yeah. A boring commodity, right? Like sugar is just
Hmm.
yeah, doing insane stuff. So yeah, this is nat gas going back 15 years more or less. And we had this big run up, and right now to me we are just testing this long-term trend line coming down here, depending on where you want to draw it. But I think we are way closer to the bottom than we are to the top to a top for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think just like in oil, I think you will see a lot higher prices in this decade as well at some point.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the commodity that surprises absolutely everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But also just remember, this is a very rough downturn, and you need time to turn the boat, let's say, because the downward pressure is just insane. So you could look at, the entire year just staying here, between 2 and 3, just basing out, resetting everything, and then we go higher. But there's a lot of downward movement that we need to
Yeah,
get out of the system first.
agreed.
Can't remember.
But it could go fast. You never know because if we have a warm summer and a cold winter, I think
Yeah, yeah,
that's all it's going to take, and I think we're
exactly.
off to the races again if that were to happen.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Yep.
But I think right now in Europe, we have at least in the southern Europe, we have a heat wave or something. So it is started. It has started. So the ACs are running on full speed, I guess.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So yeah,
What else do we got? Or what else are you watching where you're like, wow, this looks good, or wow, this looks jacked up? Um,
I think let's just look at gold.
Gold.
Everyone's talking. Yeah, I think gold is looking
I
absolutely
like
stunning.
gold. So,
Yeah, it really looks insanely good. And I just want to show you something that I also showed, just before I went on, I did a video. But let me just show you the difference between 2011 and where we are now. So this was the peak, yeah, in 2011. Then we came in for a somewhat of a triple bottom or a inverted head and shoulders. And we tried to run it above, but then ultimately we collapsed all the way down. And if we were to look at it today here, we had the same peak here, and then we are trying to make an inverted head and shoulders. We ran up, tried to collapse, but then all of a sudden, instead of collapsing all the way down, we actually just reversed all the way up. That's the difference between 2011 and why this is not a repeat, the way I see it anyways.
That's
Um,
that's the difference between having to divorce your wife because you've lost all your money
yeah, true,
uh,
true, true, true.
versus wife changing gains if it breaks out.
Yeah, exactly. That's totally true.
I'm just joking.
But also long term, it looks absolutely stunning. This is, let's just do some quick sketching. Then we have the saucer, I guess you can call it. Right. This is
Mm-hmm.
the big formation. So once we get above 2000, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter, 2000 and 2100, let's say, then you're off to the races. Maybe even before that, but in that area. And I think we are in for the exact same move as we saw down here.
And that price projection is the same move as before it. Is that correct?
Yeah, this one here,
Yeah.
this move up here.
Is
Yeah,
that is that the right statement?
yeah, that is true. And if you can go back here and just look at where we almost got the full move. So let's just copy this one all the way up to the top here as well.
Oh, tell me it's way up there.
It is way up there. I
Oh
have a
my
target
goodness.
I have a target of 8K. But again, when you get into the last 10% of a big bull market, that's where you get all the crazy stuff where just everything goes parabolic. So at that point, it's almost impossible to pinpoint the top. But that's also what we will see again here at some point. Let me just do a quick. Yeah, exactly. So this is how I see it. This is this right here. Excuse me.
Mhm.
There it is, the 100% measured move from this formation. So at around 8K. And then again, with some overperformance to the upside, which is actually also what you got if we do the exact same back here in the 70s.
Mhm.
Let's do a measured move like that. And you can see we did hit the target at around $600 or so, but we overshot
Mhm.
it by 50% more or less to 900. So if we were to do the exact same here again, then 50% is 12,000 more or
12
less.
grand.
Yeah.
12 grand.
And you could and remember, the times back then with regarding to inflation is quite similar to as to what we see today. But back then we only had, or the US only had, correct me if I'm wrong, but like 30 or 40% debt to GDP. And now we have like 100 and I don't know, 30, 40, 50.
Yeah,
A
whatever it
lot.
is.
Yeah. So there could be way more upside in gold
When you
once
say
this gets
way more, you're talking like 20,000, 30,000, 40,000.
I don't want to sound stupid on tape, but
Just
if
make it
last
a cool 100.
no, but I mean we did get a 50% overshoot last time. So if
Mhm.
and maybe we get 100, so we get to like what is it, 16K
16.
or 20, yeah. But depending on how insane things behave, so it's very hard to predict once you get to the very late stage, as mentioned, in a bull market.
Okay.
It's very tough to predict. But I do think that this precious metals bull market will peak out when we get to a gold to silver ratio at around 10 or even below that intraday. So then you can do the math.
So you're saying silver is going to infinity. I mean, you might as well just start lining up Lambos if you own silver.
Yeah, maybe depending on how much you have. But I think you can easily get the intraday spike into single digit gold to silver ratio. So let's call it 10 just to round it up. And then
Okay.
depending on where we go, let's call it 10K. Then you have $1,000 silver. So And people say it
Man.
sounds stupid, but I mean, if you look at the gold to silver ratio, which we can easily do, it's just, you know, history repeating all over again.
Yeah. It's
It
got
really is.
it's got the largest cup and handle pattern I've ever seen of anything. So
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah, exactly. And these are the lows, you know, the 80s low in this ratio, which is at 15. So let's say we
Mhm.
get to 15 with some overperformance to the downside, as we talked about before, you have single digit. And if gold is at around 8K or 6K, 10K, whatever, you still have a very, very high silver price at that point.
So let's do some math here. Silver goes, let's just hypothetically say it goes to 1,000. The platinum to silver ratio, when it's really low, so if silver can buy a lot of platinum, um, that ratio could be like 30 or 40. So it would be platinum would be at what, like 33,000, or no. Hold on. Let me get the calculator out. Because I don't ever really think of silver at 1,000. So if silver is at 1,000 divided by 40 or so, or no, it'd be multiplied by 40,
Multiplied, yeah.
right? Yeah, it'd be $40,000
Yeah,
on the low end if that
yeah,
were to
true.
happen.
Yeah,
If we were at platinum, if platinum were to be expensive, you'd be at $150,000 an ounce then, or 100,000 or something like that.
yeah.
I don't know. That's a lot. I
It sounds
like
the
it
same,
though.
but that yeah, it will be a lot. Yeah, it will be. And
I
again, it's
like it
all
a lot.
ratios, so it's nothing. It's not something that we just pick out of a hat and give a number. It is really, you know, historic based estimates, you can say. So let's see if we get that
Yep.
far. But
Hmm. Yeah, that's the silver. Or if silver were to really run against it, it could get down to like 40 or something like that. Which
yeah,
platinum would be $40,000 an ounce if
yeah,
silver's at.
at the lower side, yeah, exactly,
God,
exactly. So
I'll take it. Yeah, that's
so
good.
yeah, and again, I do think that the demand for platinum is probably going down. But I know the supply is going down by a factor of 10 compared to that because no one is mining it at all. And you get it from where? You get it from Russia, which right now we know is not the best place to invest, and you get it from Africa, which always has been unstable. So yeah, you might not be able to get it, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, what about what else you got?
I'm
You
just
want to you want
look. Mm,
you want to choose? You want to do tan?
yeah, let's do 10 because it's just a massive squeeze. It really
Yep.
is. I think we looked at it last time as well, and we're still in that squeeze. Just look at this one. Either way we go, right? This will be insanely explosive.
Hmm.
So yeah, my take on it is that if we break to the downside, we go way down to like 33, 34, which would be a very good buying opportunity because then you have the third move down before going up. And if we go to the upside, then we are going to break this high over here in a very quick quick way for sure. But we're going all the way into the apex, so let's see.
Go tan.
10, yeah. And you do know that governments and so on all the way around the world are just piling money into this,
Yep.
even though it doesn't make any sense at all, but they
Well, they're
do.
gonna pile. They're gonna pile. They're gonna. I think if oil goes short and oil goes up, I think they're just gonna pile money into this like no
Yeah,
other.
exactly. Yeah, I agree. So I think long term, you also have, you know, this big old inverted head and shoulders, as you also have shown on, I think, on your Twitter feed.
Hmm.
So you have this long term here, whoopty doopty. And your measured move, let's do that quickly for the viewers here.
Jesus, it's gonna be big.
It's going to be very big, yeah. So this is at least where we are going, at least.
Hmm.
So that's a 3x from here.
Hmm.
So and it could happen a lot quicker than people think if we break to the upside.
I know
Because
it could
just
go
look at this
quick.
move here. So you can do it in like in 2 years. You can do
Yep.
a 3x easily. So yeah.
But if I think if that does that, I think oil's going higher. I think uranium. I think
Yeah, yeah.
all of it's gonna go higher. all at the same time.
nat gas and so on. Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
I totally agree. It will.
Everything.
It will. So yeah.
Yeah. XLE.
XLE. And again, if you overlay the uranium URA on this one, I think it's quite similar, if I remember correctly. Don't get me wrong. Or is it oil? I don't. Yeah, I can't remember. But just a quick on a daily view, we also had the OPEC gap up here. You know, the production cut, and we closed it again to the T more or less, just to show you how quick these gaps, how they are. Just they're always getting closed more or less. I think it's 90% of the time they're getting closed, especially if it's a yeah.
There's a gap right where your thing is at that hasn't been closed.
Yeah, that's one down here. Yes, exactly. Very true.
Yeah.
I think if you go to a weekly, it could be some sort of a reversal. Not quite. But yeah, that is true. We have a gap right here.
That's part of the 10%.
On both sides, you have it here. So yeah, that's true. 10%, 10%. That is true. So it is always down here as well. And that would be like, what is like a 10, 15, yeah, 15% drop or so.
It looks like we have an inverted head and shoulders.
That is true.
Right now.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to point out. So I think we have an inverted head and shoulders right here. Let me just quickly draw it for you, like that. Yes.
Yep.
And I think
Let's
if
launch
this
this
is our
bad
play,
boy.
and if it plays out, then we get above the red one here.
Yep.
Let's just do the quick move, measured move here. Like that. You can see then we have the big breakout. So that's where we stand, I think. So as long as we are above this, let's draw it like that. This long-term golden trend line coming here, then we're all good. And we did have a fake out below, false breakdown where people got caught in all their shorts. So for now,
let's squeeze them. We need to squeeze those guys and push this up to like $300-400.
Yeah, true.
A share.
True.
I think that's where the all-time highs are, aren't they? Somewhere up there. Maybe not.
To be honest, I don't. Maybe there is a different ETF.
Maybe they're not.
I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll get up there.
We will get up there. Let's just show, I think, one last thing here. Just it's a different ratio. It's gold divided by the money supply. And as you can, this is the peak back in 2011, where gold was around, what is it, 2100? Sorry, 2100. Same here, the peak in 2020 at around the same level. But right now, finally, gold has broken out against the money creation, which long term is where you want to have gold outperform. That's one of them that you want to have gold to outperform. If you want to do a ratio, it's the gold divided by SPX, it's gold divided by money supply, and gold divided by inflation. If you can start to outperform these three, then you have a good times ahead for gold. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's where you're going to make uber wealth, because if this were to go all like back up to all-time highs, and silver outperforms gold, I mean, you're talking many multiples from where it is today. Many multiples.
Yeah, so true.
I mean, yeah, look at that.
We can even extend it to here, right? This is the peak, the 80s peak. So
this is like the biggest bull market ever that we're facing here, potentially in gold and silver.
That's true. I also think, if I remember correctly here, if I can do it.
I could imagine if the gold silver mining companies start to outperform gold itself, that could be the best setup of anything in the markets, or like a silver junior company or something just going ballistic.
Exactly, I agree. But I totally agree. But that comes with a lot of volatility and so on. But I totally agree, because once gold silver starts to move, then all of the speculative money goes into the miners. So yeah, just like you see in Bitcoin, right? When Bitcoin started to move, all the more speculative money started to go into all this crap, all the small coins, but they went up like 10,000%. So You can't blame them, right? But you know that's what happens. So yeah.
So we got a breakout of this big long-term trend line then
Yeah, we do.
against the money supply, which
Yes.
everyone should be paying attention to this, right?
I totally, yes, for sure. It's very important to have these breakouts here and not only look at it against the dollar, for example. There are a lot of different important things to look at as well. You can also look at it against the SP 500, because if gold starts to outperform SP 500, then usually you will see more big money flows going into gold, because they look at these ratios, right? And they want to put their money where they can get the best return. And if they see gold outperforming the SPX, then they put more money into gold. It's simple. It's simple as that.
Well, that's a good thing if they do that, because I'm already in this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. Me too. I
Just
love gold,
sitting in
man.
it,
It's just
waiting.
yeah, I love gold. I really do. So hopefully we'll get a breakout in the next month or two, if we can get
Yep.
the
Oh, we're going. We're
yeah,
sitting right there at the top there, just chilling out. There's not
yeah.
much selling pressure there. It's just kind of just
No,
moving
no, no, no.
sideways. So I
Yeah.
think we're gonna do all right.
Yeah, I think we are. And also, you know, this we just had the monthly close here at Friday, and
Mhm.
we did make an all-time high monthly close. That's that means something to the big boys. So
Yep.
so yeah,
And
looks good.
we could go down to like 1900, right? Ish,
Yes, easily,
somewhere in that
easily, yes.
range,
Yeah, yeah.
and
I
then
think
we're still good.
yeah, for sure. For sure we are. I mean, we can still go down to exactly, you know, just above 1900, and that would be perfectly fine for the next leg up again. Same for silver. Right now we are at 25. I
Mhm.
think we will go down to 24, maybe a tad below, depending on how much we underperform to the downside. And uh, and the reason why is just, let me remove this one. I do think that we still are in for a big retest of this golden trend line coming down here. So we get down to like 24 and then we shoot back up again. That's my, if I were to give a prediction, this is the one I would give people. So a bit short-term pain for the next 2 weeks, and then hopefully we turn back up again higher.
It's good. I'm not gonna do anything different with my portfolio. Just sitting there
Me
waiting.
neither, man. Yeah, me too. Me too.
I really
Also, this is yeah,
the
yeah,
way I'm positioned, I really need something like one of like 6 or 7 different outcomes and I'll be fine.
yeah,
Like if gold goes
yeah. One
up,
out
because
of
I've got the miners and royalty companies, you get silver or platinum, natural gas or oil, uranium, like or copper or some of those diversified base
yeah,
metals. You just need one. But if
yeah.
they
You
all
just
go
need one. Yeah,
together all up at once, do you think they're just going to go up like individual sectors go up, or do you think the whole thing's just going to take off altogether, like all these different
I
commodities and
think
sectors?
I think you know during this decade, this bull market in commodities, I think you know you will see. Let's say maybe platinum does very well for like a period of between now and 2 years ahead. Just for
Mhm.
let's call it that, and then you know at some point you know gold will take over, then silver will take over. I think every one of them will have their prime, but at different stages in the game. So yeah,
and and then hopefully I'll just hop every single one, so it's going to go, and then I'll hop into another one straight up
yeah,
each
exactly,
time.
exactly. Just a like stair ladder case
Yep,
up, you know. Yeah, exactly.
fingers
I think
crossed.
I think they will be somewhat synced, but you know then but they will also be you know someone will break out you know way ahead before the others, and some will be very late stage and so on.
Yep,
But overall they will go up together, but peak at different times.
yep,
So
totally agree. Is there anything else you'd like to close with or anything like that?
I think we had a good discussion of what we both are interested into.
Mhm.
So I think let's just leave it there. I think we have had a good 1 hour here, so
Good,
I hope
good.
people enjoyed
And
it. So
if you guys like listening to Casper, he's got that YouTube channel. Don't forget to type it in Uselinkinv for YouTube. So don't forget that if you want to
Yes,
reach out to them.
please do that.
Yep.
Please do
But
that.
that's all I've got for
Yeah.
me. You got anything else?
Nope. Just thanks for being on again. It's been like a month or so. So let's get back together in like a month or so again, so we can see
All
what
right.
happens.
Definitely. Definitely. All right. Well, if you made it to the end, type in Casper, you rock for being on the channel. Put it in the comment section, and we'll catch everyone later. See ya.
Yeah. Bye.